How do you know if it's time to approach your target audience? Hi, I'm Aldric Toyad. Thank you very much for watching this video. Before you go to market, before you market or promote your product, your service, your brand, your solution, I know you've identified your target audience, but here's the thing which I need you to do. Test it against 4 criteria. If it does not fulfill the 4 criteria, I suggest that you reconsider, because it will impact the success of your whole campaign. The first criteria is making sure that your target audience that you've identified can be quantifiable, can be identified, right? When I say this, what I mean is you have characteristics of the target audience. When I was with BNI, whether as a member or a director consultant, we had these one-to-one sessions or one-to-one meetings where the 2 members, we would exchange information about each other's business. And one important question that we normally ask is, who are your ideal customers? Knowing your ideal customers isn't just about saying anyone who has this problem. Having a problem is a degree of identifier, but most people I've come across every now and then, anyone, especially if they're FMCG or clothing or those negative ion, anyone, Aldric, because anyone needs good health, right? Wait, before you say anyone, you need to really give it some thought. Anyone doesn't exist. Someone would exist, but who is this someone? Definitely not everyone. Please, come on, be realistic. Even mass FMCG, again, do not target everyone. When you're saying you're targeting anyone, you're targeting everyone, you don't have a target. You're going to waste your time, you're going to waste your energy, you're going to waste your resources. Be realistic, okay? So when you are looking at your target audience, are they, or is the target audience quantifiable? Can you isolate them based on, say, gender, male, female, or age, 60 and above, 60 and below, or conditions or characteristics? Were diagnosed with, say, cardiovascular diseases in the last 5 years, or something along those lines, you know. So when you have it specific, you can already, I'm sure you can already guess, you can presume the psychography of this target audience, right? The second criteria is it is substantial. You don't want to target too niche of audience. I mean, being the first in the target space or being the first to produce something for that specific audience may sound ideal, but you will need a lot of resources just to remain afloat. There is no point to target, unless you're cash rich, again, unless your business is cash rich, no point to target a niche audience, too niche of a market segment. How niche is niche? Well, I have to say it depends. For example, if you're selling yachts, right? That's definitely not a mass market product. You're going to target the top 20% or maybe the top 10% of the population in the global population. So your strategy there is no longer defined by, say, geography. You will be looking at a global scale, right? Because these are people who have a net worth of, say, I don't know, $100 million and above, or they're able to make that purchase without problems, right? So if the quantity of that audience is enough, is sufficient, then by all means proceed, right? So first, identifiable or quantifiable. Second, there is substantial amount of people, potential buyers. The third criteria, accessible. There is no point, okay, and I'm talking in terms, let's be realistic, in terms of business, there is no point trying to sell to audiences that you cannot or you don't have access to. I'm not saying that if you are based in Kuala Lumpur, you don't sell to businesses in, say, Beijing. Not at all. Again, if you can communicate, if you can do the transaction, hey, it's accessible. Your market is accessible. You are accessible. But if you're talking about some isolated place on the moon or in the middle of Antarctica or in the middle of the Arctic Ocean, maybe not, right? Don't waste your time. And you also have to consider accessibility not just in terms of distribution channels, but also communication channels. If you're trying to sell something to a very isolated community or a market which costs more in transportation, you might need to reconsider. Again, the caveat is, or the exception is, if you are cash rich, if your business is cash rich, or you have other resources that enables you to subsidize of sorts that transaction, then by all means go ahead. So from the third, I move to the fourth. The fourth criteria which you need to test that target audience against is relevance. Relevance is also crucial. Just because you're excited about how innovative, how outstanding, how revolutionary your product is, but it is irrelevant to your target audience, please don't waste your time. No amount of spin, publicity, promotion can do anything about it. I mean, okay, fine. If you have the resources and you can take that risk, okay, go ahead. But under normal circumstances, if you're looking at the normal distribution bell curve, right, most people would not. Most businesses don't have the luxury or resources to promote, to market, to advertise irrelevant products. What do I mean by irrelevant? That is why the first three criteria is crucial. When you know what's relevant, you can test against these items, these other identifiers. If you know that your target audience do not have time because they are working, say 12-hour work week, 12 hour a day, and they're working 6 days a week. You do not want to sell something, a product or a service that consumes too much of their time. Likewise, you do not want to sell baby products to people who do not have plans to have kids, right? Or singles. You do not want to sell bridal gowns to, I don't know, guys. I mean, of course, there are guys who would want to buy that for whatever reason, but that is quite niche. If you can take up that risk, if you believe that the ROI, the return on investment, is justifiable, then go ahead. But again, using the normal distribution under normal circumstances, it is a bad idea. Because the amount of education that you have to do, the amount of promotion you have to do will just defeat the whole venture. Now, having all four criteria also helps you plan out, number one, your distribution channel. If you're planning to drop ship, okay, you're selling chandeliers online, to whom? Maybe residents in the Greater Bay Area who earns a certain amount, right? So you would already cater your communication. Okay, you already identified how you're going to distribute your product. Whether you're going to ship it direct, which logistics company to use, how long it will take. And you will also identify how you're going to communicate the promotion, the advertisement, whether it's online, Facebook, social media, mailing list, or the like. There's so many tactics. So it all hinges upon the four criteria. Thank you very much. That has been the four criteria that you need to test your target audience against. Let me repeat them quickly. Number one, it is quantifiable or identifiable. Number two, you have sufficient quantity. Number three, accessibility. And number four, the product or service is relevant. Thank you very much. Do like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.